Alright, hey guys, Fiddle Ferret here, and welcome back to another Manga First Take, and today we're going to be looking at Fairy Tail Ice Trail, which is basically a spin-off series, obviously based on the Fairy Tail series, but this story involves Gray when he was a younger lad just getting started. Now, we've gotten a decent amount of backstory on Gray, but I guess if we really think about it, we haven't gotten a ton of backstory on him when he was still really young, and so I think I've got to say, even though this manga isn't terrible, it's probably like my least favorite of all of the Fairy Tail spin-offs that I've read so far, because I really do enjoy Fairy Tail. I think Fairy Tail is really very good. My second in line at this point would probably be Fairy Girls. I thought the art style on that was very good, and I thought it lent itself really well to the characters. Not Misty, Wendy's story has been okay so far. I give it a bit more of a pass because it's a shoujo story, and so for being a shoujo story, it acts very much like a shoujo. So that's it's all right. I mean, I've sort of enjoyed reading that. But so far, Ice Trail, I'm really not so sure about it. I think one of the things that really sets me off, or kind of, I don't know, I don't really enjoy a ton, is gotta be the art style. I don't really care for the art style very much, and it might just be because I'm so used to Fairy Tail and all its characters, but like, I don't think I'd even know this was Gray unless they said his name was Gray and he used ice magic and I put two and two together. And I think I'm going to say the second thing that is very odd about this series is that the villains from this series don't seem like they really belong in Fairy Tail. They all seem like they're from like a different series, and I don't say that because the art style is different. I say it because they don't seem very Fairy Tail like. Personally, if I had to put a name to it, I'd say the villains look like they belong more in a series like Soul Eater than they do in Fairy Tail. And I thought that was just like a funny thought I had when I first started reading the series, but the farther I went on, the more I was like, dang, I kind of feel like I'm reading Soul Eater right now, because that's really what it seemed like the villains belonged in. But there are good scenes like this where like the background scenes and stuff like this, the action scenes, are drawn very well. That is one thing about this. I thought it was interesting that that Gray apparently, obviously, was this involved with guild arts. That's not something I would have expected, and it's also something I find, I don't know, a little bit strange that we never knew that before. It's one of those, I kind of give that a pass because it's like, okay, I mean, if they say it happened and they just never mentioned it, that's one thing. Guild Arts does look quite a bit like Guild Arts, but the story just like this right here, I mean, this really just seems like something that would belong in like Soul Eater. And it's not like a huge problem, except for when I read this, it really just completely does not feel like Fairy Tail one bit. There's just nothing about this series that really made me think of Fairy Tail. Well, I mean, he's crying here, so obviously it must be from Fairy Tail. And so I did sort of enjoy this, but I gotta say, I don't know if I'm going to be continuing this series. I think I might give it some more shots, because it is interesting to get the backstory on Gray, but at the same time, it takes away a lot of what I really, felt about Fairy Tail. I don't really get that Fairy Tail vibe from it that makes me love this series so much. But I mean, other than that, the story was alright. It's interesting, like I said before, to see the stuff about Gray and where he came from and how he grew up, and the stuff about Guild Arts was interesting. Like, we're reading Soul Eater right now. And so Ice Trail, what I do like it, I mean, it's a very hearty volume. It's a very good size to it. That's one thing that's really quite nice about it. It's nice to have, if you're a really big fan of Fairy Tail, I suggest getting this. But if you're just a casual fan of Fairy Tail and don't necessarily care about Gray all that much as a character, I think this is probably a series you could give a pass on. If Gray is one of your favorite characters, then this would probably be something that would really interest you, no matter what else goes on in the story, just because it deals with Gray so much. But anyway, guys, I've been Fiddle Ferret, and I'll see you back on the prowl next time.